Oblivion is the 4th chapter in the Elder Scrolls series, and it is about an emperor and his sons who are being chased and eventually assassinated by an unknown group. The emperor gives you the amulet and gives it to you and tells you to find his lost son, who was an illegitimate son that was sent away at birth. And without a true heir on the throne, the gates between Oblivion, which is hell in the world of the Elder Scrolls, and Tamriel open up and demons start to invade the land. So you have to find this son, get him, and do whatever it takes to get him back on the throne so that these gates will shut and the attacks from the demons will stop. Morrowind was probably 9 or 10 square miles. Morrowind was the 3rd chapter, the last game we did in 2002. Oblivion is about 16 square miles. For the most part, you know, we make every Elder Scrolls game stand on its own, so you don't have to have played any of the previous games in order to understand what's going on in this one. And we really design a game where you get better at the things you do, so you don't have to understand a whole lot about stats and role-playing and stuff. You can just jump into this world and start doing stuff, and you're going to get better at those things as you go along. Even when you fail, you'll get better at it. So if you're trying to pick a lock and you're unsuccessfully picking the lock and you keep breaking your lock picks, you're still getting better. You're sort of learning through your failures. It's definitely a system that encourages you to keep at it, because the more you do it, the better you get at it, and then the cooler the stuff that you can do. So it's completely open and free form in terms of what it is that you can do and what it is you want to do next. The game allows you to make those choices on the fly. We never lock off part of the game to you because you didn't do something fast enough or you ran out of time on this quest. All of our quests are there and waiting for you as you pick them up to do them at your leisure. So we have 4 main guilds in the game. 2 of them are sort of the good guilds, which is the Mages Guild and the Fighters Guild, and those are guilds that, you know, they're sort of more of the noble side of the game, where you're doing good deeds and helping people out. Then on the other side of the spectrum, you've got the Thieves Guild, and those guys are, you know, they're definitely into stealing things. That's where you can find fences that'll buy your stolen items. You can get your bounties and fines reduced by working through Thieves Guild contacts. And then you've got the Dark Brotherhood, who are really, it's almost a cult. Again, all of these guilds are guilds that you can join. They're not mutually exclusive. You can rise to the head of all 4 of them if you choose. And there's also an arena circuit, so you can actually become a gladiator, go fight in the arena, and rise to be the grand champion of the arena as well. So it's sort of like a guild, but it's not quest-based. It's purely based on your ability to fight and defeat the next opponent that you have to face in the arena. One of the things we focused a lot on for Oblivion was making more of the quote-unquote mundane things a little bit more interactive and fun. All of the dialogue in the game has full speech, so every line of dialogue includes recorded voice for every character in the game, which makes it a lot more engaging and interactive.
So your so-called gods cannot erase him from your minds completely.
If you're all alone in the woods and you see a troll coming, you run. Problem solved.
We do a lot of stuff with facial animations so that when characters are talking to you and you're mad, you can really see it in the look on their face. And then we have this disposition minigame, so it allows you to try and persuade people to give you information that maybe they don't want to give you because they don't like you enough. Radiant AI is a system we came up with because we really didn't want to get into having to script specific behaviors and specific actions for every single NPC in the game, because there's so many of them. There's well over 1,000, there's almost 1,500 different NPCs, and to tell each one of them exactly where to go and what to do at any given moment was A, not practical, and B, felt sort of stiff. So what we decided to do was we wanted to have a way to give them general goals, things that they needed to accomplish, and have the AI allow the NPCs to figure out on their own how to accomplish those things. The end result to the player is that when you go into town, you see people walking around as if they're living out their daily lives. Doors will open and close at appropriate hours, and they don't just open and close where the door becomes locked but the NPC is still standing inside. They open and close because the NPC leaves the store and locks the door to his store behind him, and he walks back to his house, or he goes down to the tavern to have a bite to eat, and then he goes to visit a friend, or he stops along the way to have a conversation with somebody that he knows that he passes along the way. So it's more about adding to the realism of the world and the way the NPCs interact with each other and interact with you in a way that is believable and realistic, so that when you have a quest where you have to follow somebody or find somebody or break into a house, you're actually trailing that person, trying to figure out when did they leave the house, when they leave the house, where do they go? If you have to kill somebody, is there a certain time in the week where they go somewhere that's more remote where you may be able to take them out without lots of people being around? So it offers up a lot of gameplay possibilities, but also just adds to the realism and this feel that you get from the world that, you know, it's realistic. You're really a part of what's going on. You know, everybody is really going to define what they get out of this based on how they play the game. I mean, the thing that we enjoy, the thing that I enjoy doing, you know, press tours like this one is walking around and seeing all of these people playing the exact same game and playing it so differently and having a completely different set of experiences where, you know, after their time is up, they're talking about what they did, and it almost sounds like they're playing different games, because one guy spent all of his time as a thief and he was sneaking around dungeons, and instead of killing creatures, he was trying to sneak past them and steal stuff and get out before he got caught. You know, another guy was playing a big sort of Conan the Barbarian guy, you know, wearing no shirt and walking around and smacking people with a big two-handed warhammer. Somebody else played as a mage and spent all their time working on mage quests and lots of time on alchemy and casting spells and never actually picked up a weapon. So the fact that people can jump into this game and it's the same game, but they can experience it in so many different ways and have that experience be customized as to how they want to play the game and what it is they want to do, I think that's the best thing. And I think if all of the people who get the game can find their own path through it and play the kind of game that they want, whatever that is, and have fun doing it, that's the ultimate goal, is to have everybody play it and find within what we've created something that they can latch onto that they think is cool and fun and unique.